Well, good morning, everyone. How are you doing? Happy belated Independence Day if you're in the States, and hopefully you guys had fun doing cookouts and fireworks and all of that. And, you know, we're just keeping things moving around here. I've completed my honey harvest for this year, as far as I can tell. And I can't really complain about it because last year, let me see if I got my spreadsheet up here and see if I can present this where maybe you guys can see it. There we go. We'll just do this. Pop that up. All right. So last year, I pulled a whopping 596 pounds of honey. And this year, see 2024, I've pulled 954 pounds. So let's do some math on that. Let's put my calculator up here. Let's clear that out. So if we do 954 divided by 620, whoop, nope, not 626, sorry. What I harvested, 596 is 1.6 times 100 is 160%. So I have an increase of 60% over last year's honey harvest, which is pretty good. So this year, I guess the benefits of expanding the bees and last year's queen grafting I did return about 60% difference, right? So 60% more is, let's see, what do we figure out here? I guess let me pop my calculator back up, clear that out. 954 minus 596 is 358 pounds. So 3,580 pounds. If you multiply that by $10 a pound that we typically get, about $3,500 more in honey sale increase. So that's pretty good. I can't complain about that. I went by Harbor Freight this morning and picked up some ratchet straps because I need to start moving bees out to my other apiary there. So any fall flow they can store away and get that packed away for our pseudo winter we have here. So not too shabby. Is it what I wanted? No, I was hoping for at least 1,000 pounds, but I was close. I got close to 1,000 this year. You know, it's a lot of work this time of year. It's 91 degrees right now at 11:30 this morning. And what's the feel like temperature? We popped that up. It says heat advisory. So feels like 101 already at 11:30 this morning. So as you can see, we're still matter of fact, I'll just show that to you guys so you can see here. So this 92 feels like 101 right now. So 48% humidity, 70% dew point there. So as you can see, it's supposed to rain tomorrow, but it's still supposed to get up to 96 degrees. And so we're still in for a hot one. Of course, it was supposed to rain twice. Now it's not calling for rain till tomorrow night at 7 p.m. So still going to be a hot day between 11 and 7, right? It's going to be pretty hot tomorrow. So we're still fighting that. I'm glad to see the rain coming in a bit, but just been a brutal, after such a mild spring. It's been pretty brutal here, as I know it's been in several other places. But what can you do? You just do what you can do and Now I'm going to move some of these colonies so there's less competition amongst the colonies for the fall nectar, and get those ready. And half of me wants to wait till night to move them. The other half of me just says strap them down, throw them in the truck, and go. And any mean forager bees will just have to find a place, So it's one of those things. I don't know. I'm debating. I don't really want to go out at 10 o'clock at night to deliver bees, but sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. And wow, 97. Yeah, it's been toasty. I know Todd was saying he was up to like 114 at one time. So it hasn't been too fun from that aspect. But, for the amount of colonies that I have and the number of new colonies I had this year, I feel pretty good. So my goals moving forward are to set up these out yards, and hopefully, because there's less competition, they have their own forage area. Hopefully they'll produce more honey. Also, next year is going to be a replace the queens year. Last year I grafted. This year I didn't graft because I felt like the grafts that I took last year, that I did last year, even though they did well, I pulled my grafts from the best of the colonies that I had, and last year they were not that good. So it was kind of one of those best of the worst scenarios. So now I have some better, what I consider to be better queens, better genetics going on right now. Those will be the ones, the survivors over the winter will be the grafting colonies to be able to move forward with this operation. I don't know that I'm going to expand. Of course, I say that now and never know what's going to happen next year. But at this point, it's more about just becoming more self-sufficient and putting myself in a good place with the bees. And this year was a struggle for me. I did some things that I didn't necessarily feel comfortable doing. And when I say that, I mean, I didn't check them as often as I probably could have. Well, I know I could have checked them more, but I decided that I was going to get these new nukes a start and let them roll. Right now I'm sitting at about 70 colonies, nukes included. So I want to move some production colonies out to this out yard, leave my nukes here so I can establish my queens and everything here. So most of the work will still be going on here with inspections and adding honey boxes and stuff out in the out yard. So I did make a post. I think I told you guys a few weeks ago in our local Facebook community group. It's the same group that I advertise when I put my honey table out front, that, hey, I'm out here, come by and get some honey. I had probably 30 to 40 people come back and say, we've got property, we would love to host your bees. And then it became well, I've got more people wanting to host bees than I have bees. So that may turn into an expansion. Honestly, it just depends on how I feel with my health, and more than that, my funds, right? I have to have funds to buy boxes and frames and stuff like that. And right now I just don't. So if something changes between now and then, we'll make that decision. Right now, everything's in, I won't say everything, most everything is double deeps, right? So I extracted the honey out, put the box back on top, allow them to come and do whatever they want at this point. I don't care if they brood the top box. Whatever they want to do, they can do it at this point. Hive beetles are pretty much in check at this point. Not a big hive beetle issue going on, and just, trying to get things wrapped up. I've got my frames I need to treat so they don't get wax moth. I need to put them up. I need to clean the honey house. I need to clean my uncapping, my my uncapper and my extractor and get that ready. So right now I'm in a much different situation than I've been ever. So, and when I say that, I mean, I've got, 15 gallons cream in, I've got 5 being turned into hot honey. I've got, probably 5 gallons or so in my bottling tank. And I've got another 8 pails, which I think comes out to about 480 pounds sitting in buckets in the honey house. So I've never at this point of the year after extracting had just buckets of honey just sitting around. I also have a bunch of honey in my warming cabinet. So I'm not, at this point of the year, I have honey. It's not a issue of running out at this point, considering I almost have as much sitting in buckets as I had all last year. I feel like it's got me in a pretty good place at the moment. So we'll see how the honey sales go. I haven't been out sitting out at the street because it's just been too hot. People don't want to get out when it's hot here, which is unusual because it's hot here every year. But, people just tend to stay in their air conditioning, Netflix and chill and have a good time. Speaking of streaming services, the Beekeeper, the movie that came out this past summer, is now on Amazon Prime to watch for free. So if you've got Prime Video, you can watch the Beekeeper movie for nothing. So pretty good. So what I'm going to do right now is I am going to drop an invite link for anybody that might want to come chat for a minute and discuss plans going forward, or what your goals are, or what you're trying to do. Come on in. We'll I think I got that pinned to the top now, and we'll just talk about it and see what's going on, what's in the brain, what are you thinking about doing. I did make a purchase recently from Dadant, and what I bought, I needed nuke covers, and the jury's out on them, and they're not the typical 3/4 wood nuke covers. However, we'll see. We'll see how they go. I'll just show them to you, and you guys can tell me if you've had any, and what your experience has been with them. I got probably the cheapest nuke lids that I could buy, and I bought 11 of them. So because I was short on nuke lids. They are probably 5/8 plywood, and they have the feeder hole cut in them already. I've already painted them. They've been sitting out there drying for a couple of days, so they in the heat, so they should be dry and ready to go to be used. And let's see. I don't know if it's got, no, it just says free shipping. It doesn't really show many details about it, but I believe it's 5/8 plywood. When you look at these lids, they are definitely not like the lids I had before that didn't last very long. However, these are solid one-piece woods, and believe it or not, the plywood boxes, nuke boxes that I made the first year look better than probably 75% of my nuke boxes. They're still in better shape. I have one strapped out to a tree that I made my first season and painted, and it's doing fine. So this was kind of a necessity. Spent, I don't know, $170 or so to get these. Yeah, and I know these will probably tend to bow too. So it was something that I did because I just needed lids. I had boxes, I had bottom boards, I just didn't have the lids. And I really wish these companies, when they made stuff, I mean, I don't really know about these. They seem all right. They're just thin right now. The ones that I'm worried about is like when you buy a nuke bottom board assembled and they send it to you, and then 2 years later, they're starting to pull apart and stuff. And they shouldn't, because you're buying them from a beekeeping supply. So if you're a beekeeping supply company and you're watching this right now, glue your stuff. It takes a nickel. Glue it. We're already paying out the nose for this stuff. So go ahead and just glue it before you staple it, and that would be great. We'd appreciate that. so you know, that's some of the things that I'm going through over here. Really, I'm, you know, every year I try to get a little bit better. Last year was kind of a year, but I still made more honey than I've ever made. And this year I made 60% more honey than that. So I feel like I'm on a good trajectory at the moment. Now, we know those can change like that. We don't know what the winter is going to be like. I don't know if some of these nukes that I've got, I can get built up in time. Some of those nukes were used to requeen colonies that were in bad shape, like, or went queenless, and I just plugged the nuke in and they seem to be doing good. So you flipped it over and bowed it the other way. Yeah, I've got some stuff like that. I've got some boxes that I've showed you guys before that I've bowed out, and I tried to, last year, I tried to screw them together and draw them in closer, but it didn't seem to work. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out the old table saw and cut feeder shims off of those old boxes, because the bottom is good. It's just the frame rest side. And, you know, cut a few, maybe 1 inch or maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches, something like that. Cut some feeder shims to set on top of single deeps, and you know, use those for putting patties on, or, you know, whatever like that. But you know, so far this has been a pretty good year. I can't call it a bumper crop because I don't really know what a bumper crop is. I don't know what I guess is a good year, because every year I keep getting a little bit better or make a little bit more honey. And I don't know, I thought that maybe 17 colonies and, you know, 500 pounds was the max. Maybe that's all they could make here with the forge. And then this year I blew that up. So, it's always a challenge to figure out, you know, what the difference might be, I guess. And is it something I did? I mean, every year you learn a little bit more, you do a little bit more, and things seem to come to fruition. So this year, you know, we just added, diversified. I did no grafting this year. So next year, the goal is to graft a bunch of queens and replace those in the yard, and let them get acclimated and go. But you know, at this point, I went through some colonies yesterday, and my last honey harvest, I go through the boxes and I cherry pick frames, right, and then put frames back in. So it's really I don't go into the brood chamber. If they've got any honeys in the brood chamber, they keep that. I don't touch that. It's only on the super, right? So I have a double deep. The top box is where I'll pull it from, and that's been pretty effective so far. So right now I haven't fed. You know, last week I put out a tote of feed and let them go at it, and you know, but for 70 colonies, I don't think it was too much, right? I mean, 15 gallons divided by 70 is very little syrup, right? Very little. So just giving them something they can sustain themselves on. Still give them the garden hose on the plywood, and let them get some water So things are looking pretty good. But if you want to join, the link is in the chat there. And Brad has been out working. I know yesterday he said he was out at 7:30 in the morning, out there getting work done because their honey flow is getting ready to kick off. So they got a bunch of stuff happening, right? Just like we did at the beginning of the year. So, and no plastic. Yeah, that's the plastic. I like to say I'm weeding it out, but I'm working with what I got right now. And as it breaks, I will replace it with wood and go that way. I've got, and it's not that I don't like the plastic. It's that it just doesn't seem to work as well in my uncapper. So we're going with that, right? And I've adjusted the uncapper, so it's working much better. And I'm liking it a lot. With that being said, the last few nights I didn't even fire up the uncapper. I just used the old roller and rolled it and extracted it that way. So things are going good. I haven't been on as many lives lately. I've got, my grandbaby's been here. I've been spending a lot of time with him. He's gone now. So trying to get things back in the normal progression of things and keeping it going. But with that being said, it brings us to now where now I'm moving bees in the heat of the summer, or that's the intention to move them and get them up the street a bit and see how they do. And hopefully they, I know when I was there this last weekend, they still had blooms blooming and stuff over there. So it could be good for them. Yeah, long lang is heavy to steal for sure. But yeah, so that's kind of what's been going on. Hopefully everybody's honey harvests are better than they've been in the past. No, so my son-in-law and daughter are transferring from they transferred from Germany to the States. So they're in that process of having the vacation between work periods, and so they're heading to Tampa. They're heading down to Florida. And then he got picked up while he was on vacation for warrant officer school, and he's got dates for that. So they'll probably be moving here within the next year. They're thinking back to Georgia at this point, but it's the military. You don't know these things until they happen. So at any rate, guys, I just wanted to share that stuff with you and see what was going on in y'all's life. Jeremy, it's really hard to put how much I averaged per colony because of the way first of all, the way I pull it. And secondly, some hives didn't contribute anything, right? Because they were first year and still trying to build up during the flow. I got a lot of queens. Well, they haven't even been in for 2 months yet. They got here on the 21st of May, and it's July 5th. So a couple more weeks. They've been in for 2 months. So they're really trying to get themselves established and built up still. So I can't really say, but if you put a number on it, let's see. We'll do 954. If I divided it straight by the 70 colonies, I think 50 of them are probably in 10 frames right now. And some of those were just moved. So probably, let's say 45, 21 pounds if you did it that way. But of my original 23 that I had coming out of winter, let's do 954 divided by the 23 production colonies I started the year with. It's about 40 pounds. So not stellar, but powered through and made more than I did last year by 60% increase. So we're just going to work with it, and I'm going to try to move some of these colonies and see if that helps produce more honey. Yeah, you got the 105. That's about where we're at right now, right around there. It just went up a degree. It was 92. Now it's 93. Let's see what that did. 93 and 102 is what we got. About 9 degrees difference. So now it's a matter of getting these hive stands set up so I can move some colonies out there. Because it's been, I think, Sunday will be 1 week since I talked to him, so I need to show him some progress that I'm actually moving that, moving them out to the field there. Tom's got storms in Ohio. Okay, it's supposed to rain tomorrow night. Yeah, that's it. Pick up supplies when I go to visit them. We might have to do that. Might have to do that. So, I got this cat's going crazy over here. But the yeah, temperature and humidity. I mean, I'll go out there right now and have bees bearding on the front of the colony. So it's just one of those. Get out of here! Sorry, the cat's going crazy. But yeah, so that's the thing I got to do is I gotta now go tear down a couple of hive stands that I have sitting in the back that I'm not using, put them in the truck, move them out, pull the hives off the other hive stands I've got out here that I'm going to move, and then move those as well. So a few things to do like that. But other than that, man, I can't really say it's been a disappointment this year. There's been disappointing things about this year, but overall it's pretty good. And I will say that I have not used anything this year in the colonies except for Appy tablets. No Apivar, no Apigard, no Formic, no Oxalic. None of that has been used this year. So just Appy tablets, and we'll see how they do. You know, did a couple shakes. Some of them were okay. Some of them were out of control. It was kind of like everything. So started putting some tablets on those to try to knock them down and, you know, get them in check so they can succeed. One colony that I accidentally washed the queen last time I was in there, they had 4 capped queen cells. We're going to let them hatch out and make a queen. Hopefully that queen doesn't get picked off by a dragonfly or a bird or something. You know, you don't know. And I am working. Yeah, Hanleys, I'm doing the same thing. I'm working towards doing that. I'm doing you know, just the most natural way I can at the moment. Because I want to lower, well, first of all, I want the bees to sustain themselves. Sorry about the stuttering there. Sustain themselves. And also, you know, if you can do that as a beekeeper, you're saving your bees, first off, so you're not replacing those. That's a huge expense. Secondly, you're not adding extra money into the colony. So that's what we're working on right now, just to do that. I thought about trying the Formic like David's talking about there, but it's just too warm right now. Too warm to do that. I've got Peabody. I've got 13 cases sitting over here on a pallet. So if you need some, I've got them. Plenty of Appy tablets right now. That would be nice to you know, sell some of those. So if you're thinking about the Appy tablet and it's after your honey flow, it's probably a good time to put them on there. If you're in a dearth, they're going to consume more of it. Not Richard, I haven't had any problems. I mean, the proof's in the pudding still, right? So the spring, Appy tablets, right? No Usually in the spring, I put Apivar strips in, but I haven't. So this year was just Appy tablets, the new nukes. They got a Appy tablet when they started. Most of those, I can't even 100% say that every one of them got it. And I haven't had any issues, none. No melting, no nothing. And they're consuming them. So we'll see. You know, obviously this time of year, it's time for the mites to start picking up, and the production of the colony to start going down. So we'll have to see if I can keep them in check enough to where the bees can manage them, then it's a good thing. And right now, you know, I started them September. Well, actually, I guess it's 11 months, guys. I can't say it's a full year, but it's been all year with nothing but Appy tablet. And there's not been any problem. He says 2 years, but he says it shouldn't even be a problem after 2 years. So, as far as expiration, it's not really an expiration on it. It's just sugar, I guess. Sugar and, you know, some oils and thymol and stuff like that. So, can't complain. You're doing some more splits. Well, you're making solstice queens right now, right? So you're still grafting, Tom? Last year, I tried that, right? That's how I got in the Jose debacle with the queens that died in the so, you know, 25 of those queens that came when he replaced them, they didn't even my hive beetle population is pretty low right now. I've got about 2 or 3 colonies out there that's when you open the top, you see hive beetles. And not crazy amounts of hive beetles, but you do see some hive beetles. The ones that are on my hive stands that are in the direct or the more direct sun, not on that, you know, I've got I call it the cube of hives right there, right? Because it's just a bunch of rows with a bunch of hives on it. And then I've got the ones over in the tree line. All the ones that have beetles on them at this point are the ones over in the tree line. So those are colonies that I will be moving out of there because this field has more direct sunlight like my house does. So, so that's what we're working on right now over my head with 3 young kids. Yeah, the dearth here. I mean, the heat and the dearth. So if I went out there right now and put out 15 gallons of syrup, it'd be gone in a couple hours. Gone. Just out of there, you know, taken back to the colonies, which is probably what I'm going to do today, is put some feed out now that all the boxes are off and they can just put it anywhere, do whatever they want, simulate, you know, syrup, nectar coming in, and just make it go. And that's because I robbed everything, right? Well, except for what's in the brood chamber. What's in that brood box stays there until the spring. And they started, you know, some of those colonies that I did the second box a little bit earlier, they've already moved up and started laying brood in there and expanding their nests. So that's what I'm trying to get them to do. Her just go crazy in there, like basically like a second spring, and let her lay as much as she wants to, and get those bees coming right now. So hopefully everything works as planned, but very rarely does, right? Very rarely works that way. But at any rate, everybody, I just wanted to stop in for a minute. I appreciate the 29 of you on here watching right now. I'm sure there'll be a couple hundred people watch it after the stream to see what's happening. And you guys have a good day. And remember, Charlie's live tonight at 8 o'clock. And if I'm not moving bees, I'll see you all then. Y'all have a good night. And we'll see you later. Bye.